Welcome, everyone. Today's topic is joint ventures and using other people's money. Okay, so let's dive into the topic. To be able to grow in real estate, you've got to use other people's money. Okay, so what that means is that even if you have cash of your own, you have to preserve your own money as much as possible. You've got to use other people's money, meaning hard money lenders, private money lenders, primarily for the upfront purchase and the rehab. Once you stabilize the property, then at that point, you're going to either sell the property for a flip or refinance if you're going to buy and hold the property. So you're going to pay off the expensive money and put it into a long-term rental loan. Okay, so that's leveraging from other people's money. Now, in real estate, you have to have three components to be successful. You have to have money, you have to have knowledge, and you have to have a deal. Okay, oftentimes, it's very hard for somebody to have all three of them. That's where the joint ventures and partnerships come into place. So what I'm going to share with you is how to go about engaging in a partnership with somebody else. So the typical partnership is as follows. Somebody is going to provide the deal and manage the project, okay? And the other party is going to provide funding. That's how it typically works, and then you split the profits from the flip. Now, the question is, will you partner up on a flip? Will you partner up on a rental? And the answer is you have to partner up on flips because flips are in and out, okay? Whereas rentals is like getting married to somebody. You better know that somebody so well, otherwise it's going to be very, very challenging because down the road, 2, 3 years, somebody may decide to sell the property and then what? They're going to need to buy you out, you're going to need to refinance. So it's going to be very, very challenging when you partner up on a rental. So it's best to partner up on a flip. And again, somebody needs to provide the deal and manage the rehab, and the other individual will just provide the money. Now, the question is, how are you going to structure that? Are you going to set up an entity? Are you going to do a joint venture agreement? So the answer is very, very simple. You want to keep it as simple as possible. So the answer is to structure a joint venture agreement. And that's what I'm going to pull up on the screen to show you what it looks like, a joint venture agreement. Pretty much it's a document that specifies exactly each of the members' contributions and returns, okay, and responsibilities. So what is it that somebody's responsible for? That's in a nutshell what the joint venture agreement is for. So it's extremely simple. The other option is to form an entity, like an LLC, an S corporation, but that is time consuming and it's not cheap. The problem with that is that that is for a long-term relationship. So you don't want to establish an LLC upfront when you're going to partner with somebody else because you don't know how it's going to turn out. Okay, you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4 deals doing a joint venture before you think about doing an LLC. So this is what it looks like, a joint venture agreement between ABC and XYZ Corporation. So in here, you're going to specify the name. So ABC and XYZ are going to start this joint venture, and then you're going to have a project manager, managing venture. So you're going to specify the roles of every individual, and then the percentage of ownership. So typically it's 50-50 if you're gonna do a flip. So again, this applies primarily for flips, and then you're gonna do one deal to begin with. One of the members is gonna provide the deal, and the other one is going to provide the funding. Okay, now how are you gonna distribute the proceeds? Okay, you're gonna have a joint bank account, okay? Resources, contract oversight, so who is going to oversee the project, okay? Typically, whoever finds the deal is gonna bring the crews and is gonna oversee the entire project. And the other one is going to remain sort of like passive, just provide the funding for it. Sources of labor, right? So who the contractors are going to be, ensure performance, then keep records, make sure that, for instance, if you pay out a contractor over a certain amount, let's say 5,000, you need to get approval from the other partner, okay? Then you're gonna have statements. That is why it's a good idea to have a separate checking account. What else? Performance or work reports. And then the rest is standard, miscellaneous, okay? So it's super, super simple. This is what you need to have in place between you and your partner when you do a flip, for instance, and you're gonna record this to make it official. Now, something that is super important when doing a joint venture is to specify who the property is going to be bought by. ABC or XYZ Corporation, right? Because what this agreement specifies is who's going to do what, how the profits are going to be shared, and responsibilities. That's about it. But you're going to partner up on a flip. So who's buying the property? X, Y, and Z is providing the funding, but will the property be under ABC Corporation's name or XYZ Corporation's name? Okay, so that's something that you need to decide. Typically, and this is the way that we've done it in the past, that ABC Corporation, let's assume that's us, we are buying the property. Okay, the reason why is because we have experience, we can get better terms when it comes to funding if we're going to request additional funding from other sources. But this is how it works. If XYZ is providing the money, guess what? XYZ needs to officially underwrite a loan for the purchase and the rehab, okay? So that XYZ has a collateral protecting the money. So let me give an example. ABC Corporation is going to hold title of the property, okay? But there needs to be at least 3 more documents on top of this one that are going to be the mortgage, promissory note, assignment of rents, and that's about it. Those are the 3 main documents. And not only that, but XYZ will need to be the beneficiary on the insurance policy. So if something was to happen to the property, let's assume that a fire happens and the property gets destroyed, then XYZ's money needs to be protected. So the insurance policy is going to pay out not to ABC, but to XYZ because that's where the money came from. Okay, so that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is that for whatever reason, if ABC doesn't fulfill its promise, right, to do the rehab, to sell the property, then what happens, right? Because let's say XYZ has 150,000 at stake. So at that point, the property itself is going to be the collateral. So XYZ will be able to foreclose on the property so that at least the money is secure. Okay, so that is why when you do the joint venture, that is just a document that specifies who does what, how to split the profits and responsibilities. That's about it. But the question is, if XYZ is providing the money, that money needs to be secured with a collateral, which is the property, okay? Another way of doing it is that the property is bought under XYZ's name, okay? But here is the trick. Oftentimes, XYZ's money is coming from an IRA, okay? So an IRA will not allow you to self-benefit from it. What it means is that you cannot buy real estate and profit from it. You have to give a loan and make a return on the loan itself. So that is why oftentimes they cannot, if they lend out the money, have the property under their name, XYZ. So then ABC is going to take title on the property, but there's going to be a first position lien established by XYZ. Okay, that's just to secure the money. So that's the simplest way to establish a joint venture agreement. Okay, the other option is to create an entity like an LLC. Okay, that you want to do once you've done 2, 3, 4 deals with that individual. Okay, because when you do an LLC, what that means is that not only are you going to incur filing fees, but you're going to need to file a tax return for the entity, and you're going to need to pay annual fees. You're going to need to file annual report. So it's more overhead. Okay, so you don't want to do that, especially if you're going to engage in flips. You want to stick to joint venture agreements that you're going to record, okay, at the courthouse to make this official. Okay, now so far, are there any questions on how to structure a partnership?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You said if XYZ, you said if they're using their retirement, which I'm assuming is through like a self-directed thing,
Yes.
it won't allow them to actually own property in the retirement account. They can only do a note, I guess you could say.
Exactly. They can hold a note. Correct.
Okay.
And get interest on it.
Okay. Is that because there's more than one owner, or they just can't?
Those are the rules of the IRAs.
I see.
So
Okay.
if you have an IRA, you cannot buy property to self-benefit. You can take out a loan and give out that loan to somebody else and then collect interest. So
Yeah.
typically the way it works is you're going to do a flip, okay? So whoever is bringing the money and then the other person is bringing the deal and then manage the rehab and the sale of the property, okay? So you're going to go 50-50, 50-50. The deal is going to have a mortgage first position lien to secure the money, okay? And then what about the interest? So the IRA, since you need to write a mortgage and have a note, wants to see some sort of return. So it could be something symbolic, maybe 500 a month or 300 a month, something symbolic, okay, that ABC is going to need to pay to XYZ, okay, because the note needs to have some sort of interest, some sort of return, okay, so that it just follows the requirements from the IRA. But the proceeds are going to go 50-50. So when after everything is all said and done with the purchase, the rehab, closing cost from the sale, whatever is left is going to go 50-50, okay? But again, it's super important to do a joint venture agreement. Just to keep it simple, you always want to partner up on flips. It's like dating somebody. You want to be in and out perhaps, right? And if it doesn't work out, then you move on. But on rentals, it's a whole new different story because rentals are meant for a long-term passive income instrument. So typically people's lives change every 7 to 8 years. Somebody may decide to cash out, but at that point, you're going to need to refinance. You're going to need to buy them out. If you have an LLC, then you need to remove them. So there's a lot of things involved. So don't partner up on rentals. It's best to even borrow the money from somebody else, but just keep the rentals for yourself, okay? Don't partner up on rentals, just flips, and do joint venture agreements. Don't do LLCs. Maybe if you've done 3, 4 successful deals with somebody, then perhaps if you want to go in all in, then create an LLC, because you're going to have an operating agreement. And something that is super important, you always want to partner up with somebody that has a lot more to lose than you do. Okay, that's going to be super critical. If you partner up with somebody that has nothing to lose and something goes wrong, you know, they can come after you, right? So you always want to partner up with somebody that has a lot more to lose than you do. So in this case, for instance, my advice is for you, if you don't have the capital, to focus on becoming the best at finding the right deal. That's where you need to spend your time, finding a great deal. And then obviously have access to great contractors, because that's the biggest headache of all investors, not having the right people to do the project on time, on their budget, with good quality. So that's the biggest pain of all investors. And obviously the sale is the easy part, especially right now with the shortage of inventory. It's the perfect time to do flips, okay? In fact, we have a deal right now with this setup. We did a joint venture agreement where our partner is funding the purchase and the rehab 100%, but we brought the deal to the table, we're managing the rehab, and then we're gonna manage the sale as well. So we're doing the whole thing. Once everything is all done and set, we go 50-50 on the proceeds, okay, whatever is left. So that's typically the way we do partnerships. And right now it's ideal to do micro flips, meaning do a property that requires light rehabbing, okay? Nothing major, no go rehabbing, okay? You want to be in and out as soon as possible. So this particular project that we're doing, it's taking us about 3.5 weeks to complete. It's a light rehab, less than 25,000, so it's pretty light, okay? If it's between 25 to 50,000, it's gonna take you at least 2 months, month and a half to 2 months, okay, depending on your crew. But again, always stick to a joint venture agreement. That's gonna be the simplest. Are there any other questions on joint ventures and why they're important? Remember, you're gonna need money, a deal, and a crew to be successful in a joint venture agreement. Obviously, you also need experience. When you have experience, you have access to great crews that can do the job. And let me tell you, when you do a flip, super important to never use handymen. Handymen are meant for repairs, maintenance, upkeep of a property. Typically, they don't have a GC license, or because they don't know the code. So you always need to work with licensed and insured GCs, plumbers, electricians that can pull permits. Okay, you never want to engage in a project without pulling permits, because the village can find out very easily, put a stop order, send you to court, delay the project, and you're just starting with the wrong foot, okay, all together in your joint venture and with the village for future deals. So that is imperative to, for sure, work with qualified, licensed plumbers, electricians, GCs, and pull permits. Very important. There are some rehabs where you don't have to pull permits. If you're doing, for instance, if you do electric, plumbing, windows, you do need permits, roof. But if it's a light rehab where you're just remodeling, like painting, changing light fixtures, painting the kitchen cabinets, then you don't need a permit. Okay, if it's very simple rehabbing cosmetic, then you don't need permits. So in a nutshell, that's what it takes to be successful in a joint venture, focusing on flips. And then using other people's money comes into this picture, right? Right now, there's more money to be lent than deals to be funded, okay? In fact, I just had a conversation before I joined the meeting with one of our members. And then he was telling me, hey, you know, Hugo, I have hundreds of thousands sitting in my bank account. I want to put that money to use. Okay, so somebody like him, there are many with hundreds of thousands sitting in the bank, not producing any money at all, right? So you've got to focus. If you don't have that kind of money, you've got to focus on finding great deals. That is why now the question is, how do you find these great deals? You have two options. You either go the MLS route or off market. All the best deals with significant profit spread are found off market. So off market means that they're technically not for sale. They're coming from probates, so people who pass away and they inherit the property to their heirs, pre-foreclosures, people that are in financial distress, that they're about to lose their property to the foreclosure process, vacant properties, Bantam properties, okay, that are technically not for sale yet. Those are the lead pipes that you need to focus on to find great deals. Now, the question is, we keep saying, okay, great deal, great deal. So what's the definition of a great deal? Because many people, they get into the analysis paralysis phase when they find a property. They say, well, is this a good deal? Is this a great deal? How much should I pay for the property? How much is this property worth? How much am I going to invest in rehabbing this property? So these are all valid questions that most investors struggle big time. And this is what makes it a great deal. And this is the three numbers that you need to nail to the penny. And I'm going to show you how to simplify and analyze properties super, super simple. I call this the $1 million secret to analyze a great deal. In a nutshell, from the purchase price to the ARV, okay, you are going to need to have a spread of about 80,000 to 100,000. That's it. And the rehab should be less than 50,000. Taxes should be less than 10,000. If you meet that criteria, you've got a home run deal. So let me tell you how the pros analyze deals. And that's how we do it. And I want to show you. So when I look at a property, obviously we know the ARV after repair value. That means that once you fix up the property, you're going to be able to sell it for retail for top dollars. So we have an idea, because there are many comps typically for the most part, and find out how much you can sell the property for. Okay, so that's the easy part. Now, oftentimes we don't know how much we should pay for the property. So it's super simple. We need to have from what you pay for the property to what the property is going to appraise for once you do all the repairs, have this spread. So if the property, somebody wants 100,000 for the property, I'm thinking in my mind, that property better appraise for 180 to 200,000. And the rehab should be less than 50,000. So the question is, how do you know how much you're going to put into the property? Okay. Again, I'm going to give you my second best advice. And this has worked amazingly well. Over accuracy wise, over 95% accuracy. And in fact, in our cash flow inner circle group, we have a module where we show you, we share this spreadsheet It's that helps you calculate the rehab amount. But in a nutshell, you take the square footage of the property, and depending on the rehab type, whether it's easy, medium, or hard. So easy means that you're just going to paint, do the flooring, change the light fixtures, perhaps minor electric and minor plumbing work, few repairs here and there, but nothing major. Okay, just primarily paint. But I would say that only 2 to 3% of the properties you're going to find off market fall into that category of the cosmetic rehab. In fact, the one that we're doing right now, that is taking us 3 weeks, it's a cosmetic rehab. And those are very hard to find, especially in this market. But again, that was an off-market property that we got. So most of the properties, over 95% of the properties are going to fall in the category of the medium rehab to gut rehab. So gut rehabs, we stay away from. Those are the ones where you are going to need to redo systems. Like you're going to need to do plumbing, electric, HVAC, roof, windows. We stay away from those. We've done those a couple of times already, but we stay away from them. And the reason why is because it's too much headaches for the return. So it's just not worth it at all. Okay. So we like to focus on medium rehabs. Now, how do you know it's a medium rehab? Super simple. When you walk a property, you've got to look at 2 rooms only. You've got to see the kitchen and the bathroom. If you have to update the kitchen and the bathroom, what I mean by updating is that if you see a dated kitchen and a dated bathroom with old kitchen cabinets, dated appliances, and then horrible vanities, you've got to redo all of that. That's a medium rehab. So you're going to take the square footage for a medium rehab and multiply that times $30. So if the square footage for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath is typically somewhere in the 1,500, multiply 1,500 times $30. You're looking at 45,000 at least. 45, give and take 50. Any surprises could jump up to 55,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a medium rehab. Okay, it is that simple. If it was a gut rehab, it's going to go over 70 because we're going to take the square footage times $45. So it's going to go over 50. But we stay away from those because you're going to need to deal with inspectors from the village on plumbing, electric, building inspection, rough plumbing, rough electric, HVAC, you name it. So we don't want to open up a kind of worms. And not only that, but guess what? The money is not on the rehab. Think about it. If the money was on the rehab, wouldn't you think that all the contractors would be financially free and wealthy? Right? So the money in real estate is in investing in simple, boring properties where you are in and out as quick as possible. Okay, as quickly as possible. That's where the money is. Because you're going to be able to do many more projects when you're in and out versus doing a gut rehab that takes you 9 months. You're going to be able to do only one deal a year. So it's just not worth it for the headaches, for the trouble, and especially because what I mentioned earlier, contractors are the biggest headache of investors. Even the bad ones right now are super busy. So it totally sucks. In fact, we work with 2 crews. One of our crews is on vacation in Europe for the next 3-4 weeks. So we had the chance to take on a project that the rehab was going to be somewhere in the 50-60,000. We skipped that project because if we don't have the right crews, we're not going to take on a job, and just putting somebody that we're not comfortable with because it could be a disaster. It could be too risky. However, we took this smaller project, so no problem. We have another crew that we need to sort of, I would say, monitor the progress per se, versus the other crew. We're hands off. I mean, we don't need to babysit. We're just all hands free. I don't even go see the progress. They tell me Hugo is going to be done in 5-6 weeks, and boom, it's done. And they're going to pull permits. They're going to do everything. Okay, I don't need to babysit. I don't need to be there at the job site. So that's what you need in real estate to be successful, because a contractor or GC, a crew can break you or make you in real estate. So you've got to spend time finding great rehabbers, great contractors. Your time is going to be worth big time when you spend the time networking, using somebody that somebody has used. So by referral, it's just a great way to go when it comes to finding great contractors. There's another question. I thought this was also going to cover 1031 title versus deed. No, today's topic is on joint ventures and using other people's money, but I'm glad you mentioned that, because let me just show you on the screen. Where is this? Okay, so in the cash flow inner circle group, so we run two groups. The wholesale group, which, by the way, yesterday we meet every Tuesday at 6:30. So we have a home run deal done by one of our members, Sixto Robles, making over 35,000. Okay, on a wholesale assignment. It was a home run deal. Okay, so that was done yesterday, but this is the wholesale. So the cash flow inner circle group does have a topic on 1031 exchange. So let me go to if you're interested, Kiela, on 1031, let me show you where it is. On the cash flow inner circle group or portal, it's on their finding, no, it's on funding. Let me go funding. Okay, funding we have right here, 1031 exchange. So we talk about what 1031 exchange is, and we also have a preferred partner, Jeannie Berkey, and we have a 38-minute presentation on 1031. Okay, so we tell you the ins and out of 1031. So everything that you want to know, it's right here. We give you access to our partners. So Kelly's asking how much is to be part of the cash flow inner circle. It's $59 a month, or we give you 20% off if you sign up for 6 months. So you can text the keyword success to 818-818 to get information. But in a nutshell, let me just pull it up on the screen to show you. It's DealVault Academy. Okay, I'm gonna put this on the chat if you're interested in joining. So we have two groups. Oh, by the way, this is the property repair estimate that I was talking about. Super, super simple. If it's light, multiply it by 20, average by 30, heavy by 40. So we have this super simple rehab estimate that helps you figure out how much the repairs are going to be. And again, this is part of the portal. So if you go under rehab module, we give you the templates. Okay, so here, how to calculate cost of repairs. So I have videos, we have handouts, we have assignments, and when you become part of the cash flow inner circle group, you're going to be in a team. So let me show you what the team looks like. We have over 80 people. You're going to be placed in a team with a team lead. The team lead is going to usually have a lot more experience. They're either going to be a broker or a master's student from Chicago area. So it's extremely powerful. You obviously can work across teams. It's a great community of like-minded investors like yourself. So it's super important to be part of the cash flow if you're thinking about doing flips or rentals. And if you want to do wholesales, we have a wholesale group as well. So yeah, if you want to learn more about 1031, in a nutshell, what 1031 is, let me show you. 1031 exchange means that you are going to delay paying taxes on the net proceeds of your sale of an investment property. So if you sell an investment property today, technically you're supposed to pay taxes on the net proceeds. However, if you reinvest that money into another like-kind property within the next 6 months, you can delay or defer paying taxes on the net gain until you sell the property, that second property. So you have 3 months to find another property and 6 months to close on the next property, just to delay paying taxes on the net gain. That's what a 1031 exchange is for, and you have to have a qualified intermediary, and that's what Genie does. That's all they do. 1031 exchanges. Okay. So thank you for bringing that up. Are there any other questions on the line regarding joint ventures or the cash flow group? Has anybody done partnerships in the past? Any partnerships, any joint ventures with another partner? So I'm gonna ask Sam. So since you're on the line, I'm gonna pick on you. So Sam is a broker. He's got a lot of experience in real estate. He works with clients who have a lot of money. So Sam, for instance, Sam can identify a great deal. He can manage the project and he can easily sell the property, right? And he's got a lot of clients with a lot of money. So these will qualify perfectly for a joint venture, right? Where Sam would split 50-50 with his client investor on, let's say, on a flip. So Sam, can you tell us more about what your strategy is with as far as working with other with your clients who have a lot of money in hand?
Yes, good evening. They expect me to find them a good deal so they can profit and I can profit. So they offer me money from 500,000 to 5 million. Some of them are looking for different businesses, or some of them just looking for a quick flip. That is very hard to find right now.
Right.
I don't know, when the market is slowed down a little bit, cool off a little bit, what happens. We are hopefully getting more easy flips, and we can sell it at a normal market. But I have a lot of investors with a lot of money, but I cannot find the right deal for them.
So in this case, I mean, that's the problem we're all facing, finding a good deal right now because of the shortage of inventory. But in this case, Sam has two options. Either he finds them a deal, let's say he finds a great deal and he gets a commission for it. He might get 2, 3, 4% commission. That's one option, and that's the quickest for him to make money. But the second and best option would be to do a joint venture agreement with them. Because if he finds the deal, he can get the deal on the contract under his name or company name, and he can manage the project. And obviously, he's a broker, so he can sell the property in this market. And instead of making maybe 3, 4% commission by just finding a deal, he can go 50-50 on the net proceeds from a flip. So which approach were you thinking, Sam? Just to make a finder's fee, 2, 3, 4% commission, or were you thinking about doing sort of like what we talked about, an agreement, a joint venture agreement, or what's your thinking?
Yeah,
what's your
in
approach?
a small project, they are ready to go 50-50 with me, so they can make money, I can make money. But in a bigger project, they want to just give me a finder's fee and get rid of me because, for example, I'm looking for an active working car wash right now, anywhere in Illinois for about up to $5 million that I cannot find it. I'm looking for a used car lot in south suburbs.
Okay.
Between $500,000 to $700,000 that I cannot find it. But also in north suburbs, I'm looking for condo and townhomes that have enough meat on the bone so we can buy it and rehab it and sell it quick and make something out of it.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that's very challenging today. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Sam. And now there's a question from Alan. So how do we find the lenders? And then another question is, I did two, they didn't go well. So let me answer the first question. How do we find lenders? So Alan, we have two types of lenders that we work with. So let me show you. You have the option to use Harmony lenders or private money lenders, okay? So I'm gonna give you three options. Harmony lenders in ChicagoDealVault. By the way, you guys can get access to ChicagoDealVault for free for the next 30 days. So in here, we have under preferred partners, we have Harmony lenders right here. We have over 290 preferred partners, okay, by category. So if you want Harmony lenders, we have about 27, 28 of them. So this is where you can get access to Harmony lenders. We also have, Alan is interested in private money lenders. So right here we have private money lenders. We have 8,700 private money lenders. So you can filter them by zip code, by name, by address. So for instance, if you're thinking about doing a deal in, let's say, Streamwood, you can find out all the private money lenders in Streamwood. So these are people with a lot of money who have lent money to people or investors like you and I in Streamwood. So we found 13 of them right here. And then when you click on their name, we're going to skip trace them and we're going to give you even their cell phone number. So you can reach out to them. Let's say Rodney. I'm going to say, hey, Rodney, I'm a real estate investor investing in Streamwood, and I understand that you lent money on a deal in Streamwood. And you know, we even know what property they funded. So it's right here. Rodney funded 518 Holly Court, Streamwood. So we know the details when they funded that property and so forth. So we can reach out to them, introduce ourselves, and then say, would you be interested in making a 12% return on your money, right? So we have 8,700 private money lenders. Now, the main difference is that Harmony lenders is institutional money, right? So what it means is that those institutions have big pockets, okay? It's unlimited funding, and it's expensive money, 12% interest rate. It's a 6 to 12 month term, and 2 points origination. Now, private money lenders is relationship based. It's who you know. They're going to charge about the same, 12% interest rate, 6 month term, 2 points. Okay. The main difference is that private money lenders can give you the money upfront for both the purchase and the rehab. However, Harmony lenders are going to give you up to 90% or 85% of the purchase, and they're going to fund 100% of the rehab, but they're not going to give you the money upfront. They're going to give you the money based on milestones that you complete. So you're going to need to fund the project up front for a milestone, and then they're going to reimburse you for it. So I prefer private money lenders for sure. We just completed two projects using private money lenders. But what's really amazing is that in CASHFLOW in a Chicago group right here, what we've done is I approached passive investors who chose to be private money lenders. So we were able to raise 1.5 million cash, okay, to lend money to CASHFLOW in a Chicago members, okay? So you don't even need to build rapport anymore, okay, because we have raised that money. So they pledge their cash to fund your deals. For those of you who belong to the CASHFLOW Inner Circle group. So this is how it works. We're gonna vet the deal. We're gonna make sure that the deal has equity, so we apply the formula that I gave you. It needs to end up with 25% equity on the back end. Example, you buy it for 100, you put in 50, 150 all in, it better price for 200,000. So you need to have at least 25% equity on the deal. We're gonna need to make sure that you have reserves, about 15,000, and your FICO should be 680. The reason why is because it's easy for us to give you the loan up front to purchase on the rehab, but that money needs to be paid off. Okay, once you stabilize the property, if you're gonna buy and hold, or if you're gonna flip it or sell it, then you don't need to refinance. But if you're thinking about doing a buy and hold, then we're gonna need to make sure that you have reserves and FICO score, because otherwise the loan can get stuck. You may not be able to refinance if you don't have the FICO, if you don't have the reserves. There's not going to be a lender that is going to give you the money to pay that off. So we're just going to vet the deal, vet you before we give you the money. But these are the terms. It's 12% interest rate, 6-month term, 2 points. Okay, and we can fund up to 150,000 of the purchase price and up to 50,000 of the rehab. Okay, so that money is available to cash flow inner circle members. So that's something huge, okay, because you don't even need to reach out to any private money lenders. So we can fund your deal. In fact, we funded a couple of them in success stories right here. We funded a couple of them already. Brian, Xavier, we funded 2 deals, and then we were able to negotiate way better terms for Sol with a Harmony lender. Okay, so we help with funding on the cash flow inner circle group. Now, let me see, Alan, do you have criteria they need? Yeah, I just told you I just mentioned the criteria. Okay, so you're gonna need to have 25% equity on the deal. If you're gonna do a buy and hold, we check your reserves, at least 15, 20,000, and FICO score 680 and above. If you're gonna flip it, then it doesn't matter because you're just gonna sell it, but we do need to have 25% equity. Once you fix it up, let's say all in 150, it better appraise for 200,000. And then we're gonna record a first position lien on the property. You're gonna need to sign the mortgage, a promissory note. You're gonna be the personal guarantor. The loan is gonna be under your entity. And we're gonna have another document for assignment of rents. And the insurance needs to be, we have to be on the insurance policy as the beneficiary. Okay, so very, very simple. Alan, it says 680 for a flip. No, if you're flipping the property, you're selling it. So you are not refinancing, so the FICO does not apply, okay? The 680 and the reserves only apply if you're holding the property, okay? Because you need to pay us off and turn that loan into a rental long-term loan. So that only applies the FICO score and the reserves if you're keeping the property. If you're selling it, then it doesn't apply, okay? Another question is, Anthony is asking, did a partnership as a stock investment club, not for a project? So yeah, the partnership is just for a project, okay? So you're gonna be doing a joint venture in a single project, okay? In and out, that's it. That's the extent of the joint venture on a single flip, that's it. Whereas if you do an LLC, then you're in for longer, right? Anything that is bought under the entity is for the partnership. Okay, are there any other questions? Now, Alan, you said that you did 2 partnerships and they didn't go well. Can you share with the group, what is it that went wrong with the partnerships? Are you able to, okay, I just unmuted yourself, Alan. Maybe you, I believe you may not have the mic on. Alan? Yeah, it doesn't seem like you have the mic on. Oh, the contractors live. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Awesome. Thank
The
you,
first
Alan.
contractor I actually met at the RIA meeting, and at the closing, he didn't include me on the closing documents, so I didn't get my name on the HUD. He got very secretive towards the end of the deal. I did get my deposit back, but no profits, and then he went completely silent on me. Another fellow I met on Connected Investors, he talked a good talk. I did talk to some people that had dealt with him. I don't know if there was his brother or his cousin, but I didn't dig deep enough. I actually entered an LLC with him, and I bought a property that, mostly on his urging, that, was up to my hips in garbage. I couldn't really inspect it. It was a balloon frame in Calumet Park, and I lost money on it. And then he was nothing but excuses as it went through. So if you do partner with a contractor, be extra careful.
Okay, so great lesson. So this is what I mentioned early on. Thank you, Alan, for sharing. I'm going to ask you a few more questions, but you never. So let me understand. Were you the funding partner?
Yes.
Were you on the first deal? How much did you put in?
I put 25 in, and he did give me my 25 back, but no profit. And I didn't get my name on a HUD, so it didn't give me that benefit for to gain funding, because most people want to see 3 to 5 deals under your belt to get the good terms.
Right. So let me ask you: when the property was bought, was it bought under his name, right? I suppose the contractor's name.
It was
right?
a partnership, but my name didn't end up on the purchasing documents. We had a partnership agreement that we pulled off the internet. It's kind of a boilerplate partnership agreement. And as we continued through the deal, he did a great job on the rehab. I'm really sorry. I could have stayed with this guy a long time, but it was just he weirded out on me. I mean, the work was done well. I think he started to go over in money or whatever, but he never shared the final financial documents with me at the closing, and he went completely silent. And I told him I was going to drive by his house, and knock on the door so we could talk about it. But I didn't go to that extent, really. I just figured I got my money back, and on to the next.
That makes sense. But the property, I just want to fully understand, the property was bought under whose name? Because when you have an LLC, then it's under the LLC. If you do a joint venture agreement, the joint venture agreement is between, let's say, your entity and his entity, but the property needs to be bought under somebody's entity. So whose entity was the property bought under?
I think he closed it under his entity.
Okay.
We had this partnership agreement to rehab it. And again, my name didn't appear on the HUD, so I was just kind of a third-party investor when that was not the theme of our agreement.
Right. So let me tell you how that needed to be done so your money is secure. When you lend money on a partnership, you need to have a promissory note, a mortgage that you record as first position lien. So he won't be able to sell the property unless you get paid off. And then the interest, all the terms are laid out in the joint venture agreement. So he wouldn't be able to go behind your back. I'm going to show you guys what those documents look like. So for instance, let me show you, we've done a few properties, but I'm going to show you this one, the one on Lansing. Okay, so legal. Oh my goodness, I think this should be it. Oh, here, purchase. So this is the purchase agreement. I want to show you the documents that need to be, it's going to be here under legal. So this is the HUD. Okay, so we got a loan amount for 150,000. So look at this, lender Zen Wise LLC right here on the HUD. So this is, in this case, your name Alan, your entity's name would be as the lender, okay? And then the loan amount, whatever you lent in here. And then I want to show you the other documents that you need, what I was talking about. So these are some of the Chicago title. I should split those documents because I don't have to go through the whole thing. Oh, here. One is going to be the note. Okay, so it's given to the entity, our entity, by Zenwise LLC. So this is the note for 150,000. Okay, and then you're going to have all the terms, the interest, and so forth. And then you're going to have a second document, which is the mortgage, and that's what's get recorded. So right here, the mortgage. This is the most important document because they record a first position lien of the mortgage on the property. So contractors, no one would be able to sell the property unless this gets satisfied. So you got very lucky. You got paid your $25,000. He could have just sold the property and not give you anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Right.
you did not have a mortgage lien placed on the property as first position. He would need to satisfy your lien before he could sell the property. So obviously this document was missing, and there's another one that is the assignment of rents. So here's a non-occupancy agreement. Okay, yeah, that's it. So these are the two main documents. I have another one that is assignment of rents, but that only applies when they're gonna do a buy and hold. But these are some of the documents that we go over when you do a joint venture, just to protect your money, right? And then remember, the person given the money needs to be 100% protected. Okay, you were lucky, extremely lucky. Even that you didn't get any money back. I mean, getting your $25,000, call it as a big win because that was a major mistake. I mean, your 25,000 were at stake, big time.
Yep.
It was
and
like
second deal, I went to a closing at the lawyer's, and the lawyer misrepresented the amount of money I was assuming, and I had to eat that because I'm not going to sue a lawyer. I'd still be in court. But you can't trust anybody. What you're showing us, Hugo, is the exact right way to do it. Lesson learned. Burned into my memory. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you joined. And yeah, guys, before you do anything, just
do it the right way. There are no shortcuts. If somebody says, don't worry, start worrying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, no, thank you for sharing your experience with us, Alan. And then there's yeah, glad to see you back.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, Alan and I met when we started, maybe 2 years ago or so. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago or so. So that's nice to see you back.
Yeah, I struck out on my own and got a lot of tree branches swung in my face. So I'm reaching back out to some trusted friends.
Perfect. You know, I'm going to put my cell phone 773-368-4551. I put my cell phone on the chat. Guys, if you want to discuss anything, call me. Alan, if you want to get together, I'll be more than happy to get together, see where you are, and just catch up. And
yeah, let's do that. We met the one time, and off I went. But I'll do that, Hugo.
Yeah, let's touch base and find out. And perfect.
Yeah, Alan, Hugo is very right. I mean, if somebody tells you don't worry, be worried for sure. If they tell you trust me, don't trust him at all. Just keep running.
Yeah, tell him go trust yourself.
That's funny.
That's true. It's old wisdom, but it's hard learned.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So yeah, let's just quickly recap. So joint ventures is the preferred way instead of doing an LLC, and you want to do a joint venture on a flip primarily, hold off on doing LLCs and incorporate an entity until you've done 2-3 successful deals with somebody that you feel comfortable with. Always partner up with somebody who has a lot more to lose than you do. And then as far as the structure, you want to go 50-50, but somebody needs to bring all the money at 0% interest, so they're not going to charge on the money, and the other individual will bring the deal, manage the rehab, and manage the sale. And if you're a broker, you're not going to charge a commission on that. That's just to maximize the 50-50 return. Always try to use other people's money when doing transactions. Even if you have your own, try to borrow money so that you can do more deals or grow exponentially, because you don't want to put all your money in one deal and then not be able to take on other opportunities that may come your way. So you always need to have reserves available. And then please join our community, Cashflow Inner Circle. So I share the link with all of you. So we meet every Sunday, 1 p.m. And we do deal reviews, we do deal analysis, we share success stories. You're going to be part of a team with a team lead. It's really cool. It's a 10 module training program, and we reference ChicagoDealVault constantly on every single thing. And this has a sequence, right, that we follow. It's all pre-recorded videos, but we meet online every Sunday. And we've done live events. Last one was about a month ago. That was very, very successful, very cool. So I look forward to seeing you on, in fact, on Sunday, we are going to do a live event. I hope to see you all on Sunday. Okay. So on Sunday, we are going to have a live event at a property that we are completing this week in Morton Grove. Okay, so I saw Sylvia was on the line, but I think she's no longer there. So right here, so it's gonna be a live virtual event, okay, both. If you have the time, come check this property out. We're gonna talk numbers, how we found the property, and so forth, okay? So make sure that you register, come to the property, or join virtually, okay? So I'm gonna be at the property. We're gonna do a walkthrough after the rehab is done. So we're gonna talk about numbers, how much we bought it for, how much we're gonna sell it for, how much the rehab was, exactly what we did in the property, how long it took, and so forth, okay? So we'll go over every single number with you on Sunday. So either come in person or join virtually.
Where is it at?
Oh, it's Morton Grove. So the property is right. The property address is right here. I think you have the address. Yeah, that's the address.
9028.
Yeah, I just put it on the chat.
Wow, that's
So
good.
either if you're not able to come in person, then just join virtually.
Sounds good.
Perfect. So thank you, everyone, for joining. Again, give me a call if you need anything, any resources. I'll be happy to. If you want to get together, I'll be happy to do so. So thank you, everyone, for joining, and I look forward to seeing you all on Sunday.
Igor, if I have 1 minute, I want to share one of my memories with my customer. So everybody in the online, just remember it for future. Is it okay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I had a doctor investor many years ago, and he bought one of the top floor condo in Trump Tower in Chicago. He put $300,000 down payment. He bought it for 2.1 million, and he's supposed to come up with 1.8 million at the time of closing. The closing was 3 years far. I mean, the unit wasn't ready yet. So after 3 years, they told him the unit is ready, come and close it. So at that time, his business was down and he couldn't get $1.8 million loan to close it. I find him an investor to go partner with him to close it. But when they start the process, the lawyer for the Trump Tower said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We have one line on the bottom of the contract. It says you have to close this property under your name first, and then you can sell it to somebody else or partner with somebody." So to make the story short, I mean, they took the condo away from him. They didn't give him his $300,000 back, and they sold it $800,000 more. So that on that one unit, Trump Tower, they made $1.1 million extra. And this, my investor hired two lawyers fighting with the Trump lawyers, and they didn't win. So finally he gave up. So just in real estate, you have to be very careful with what you're signing, because you may lose your shirt very easy.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing, Simon. In fact, I did read the story of that was the highest priced condo in Chicago, that the top floor of the Trump Tower. It was just an insane amount of money that was paid. I think it was somebody that owned a software company, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So, yeah. But what you have in your website is real gold. I mean, it is a result of many years of experience and many years of investment. I mean, I love your website. Actually, it has everything, whatever you wish, even better than my MLS.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing, Sam, the story and your kind words. Kiela, she says legal as part of the team is essential. Absolutely. We work with really top attorneys. So we work with the #1 attorney in Illinois, CASHFLOW, Gary Davidson, so that he's part of our preferred partners. So Kiela, yeah, please make sure that you get free access to DealVault if you don't have for the next 30 days. Please send us an email to support@ChicagoDeal. Let me type it in, DealVault.com, so that you can get free access. So here, okay, send us an email. We'll give you free access for the next 30 days. So thank you everyone for joining. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday, 1 p.m. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining.